Hey, what's up guys? Today I have a tutorial on how to solve Megaminx last layer. I do currently have a tutorial out on my channel on how to do this, however it is extremely old, so I thought it was time to make an updated video. This is a beginner's tutorial, meaning that if you've never solved a Megaminx, you should be able to follow along, and in my opinion it's one of the easiest ways to learn how to solve a Megaminx if you've never done so before. So throughout this video I will be referencing 3x3s just to help you all understand better, because it can sometimes make it easier if you have something that you are familiar with to compare it with. So there will be 4 parts to this video. Part 1 is going to be getting the yellow star, part 2 is orienting the edges, part 3 is completing the yellow face, and then part 4 is orienting the corner pieces. So without any further ado, I'm just going to get on to part 1, which is getting the yellow star. Alright, so as you might have assumed by the title of part 1, getting the yellow star, the goal of this step is to get the yellow star. So if you look right here, you have these 5 edge pieces and all of them are yellow, thus creating what looks similar to a star. So that is our goal by the end of part 1. So there is 4 cases for getting the yellow star, and the first case is right here. It is when you have only one edge piece done. If you do not have at least one done, your Megaminx is not correct. You should at least have one piece. Now the 3x3 equivalent to this is having just the center piece. Now the second possible case is to have this backwards L shape that I have here. The 3x3 equivalent to that is having the backwards L like that. Next possible case you could have is this almost line shape that is similar to this, and the 3x3 equivalent to that is having the line like that. And then the last and final case that you might have is having the yellow star already done. And the 3x3 equivalent to that is having the yellow cross. Alright, so if you have case number 1, which is simply having one piece there, or the 3x3 equivalent of just having the center piece, let's just use a reference to the 3x3 to help you better understand what you will do in this case. So if I were to see this and I'm solving 3x3, I would do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and that would get me the backwards L case. So for Megaminx, it is very similar. In this situation, you would put the one piece that you have solved in the lower left-hand side, and you would do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. So this would now lead you to the second possible case that you could have, which is the backwards L case. And if you were to solve this on 3x3, you would hold the L in the back left-hand side and do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. So similarly on the Megaminx, you would hold it in the back left-hand side and do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this would give you the line case. So again, using the 3x3 as a reference point, if you were to have this case on 3x3, you would hold the line across from you, horizontally to you, and do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and you would get the yellow cross. So again, similarly on Megaminx, what you would do is you would hold the line so that it's horizontally, not like that, but horizontally from you, and do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And you would, as you can see, get the yellow star. Now we are on to part 2, which is orienting the edges. In this step, you will make it so that all of these yellow edges that you just created when making the yellow star line up correctly to the other colors, like this. So you can see this piece is yellow on top, orange here, and it lines up. This is yellow on top, gold, yellow on top, pink, yellow on top, indigo, yellow on top, mint. So they all match up, and that is our goal for part 2. So in order to accomplish this goal, you will have to learn 2 algorithms. Some of you may know them from 3x3, others of you may not. Either way, they're easy to learn, and if you already know them, then you're ahead. If not, again, it's fine. The first algorithm is what we know on 3x3 as soon. It goes as follows: R, U, R prime, U, R, U2 prime, R prime. The second case is what we know on 3x3 as the T perm, and it goes as follows: R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. So although those 2 cases might seem to be complicated, they're really not bad to learn, and I highly recommend you learn them as soon as possible because they will make solving the Megaminx a lot easier. The edges on Megaminx, there are a few cases you might have. The first one is where only one matches up. So no matter how many times you rotate it, only one piece lines up correctly. So that is the first case. Second case is when 2 edges are lined up correctly and the other 3 are not. And then the third case, and truly the last case, is when 2 edges are lined up, however they are not next to each other, rather they are across from each other, like this. If you have none of those cases, what you should have is that all of these edges are lined up. And that is again the goal of this step. So the first case that I'm going to show you is when you have 2 edges that are right next to each other and are solved correctly. So this pink and yellow piece is solved and this gold and yellow piece is solved. However, these other 3 edges are not lined up correctly. So in this situation, you would use the alg I taught you at the beginning on 3x3 called soon, and you will keep the 2 correctly solved edges in your bottom left hand / in front of you. And you would perform it like this: R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U2 prime, R prime. As you can see, these 2 are still in the same place. However, these 3 still aren't solved. So if you did that algorithm and it did end up solved, then that's good. If not, you'll just have to repeat the same alg again, keeping these 2 solved oriented edges at the bottom left again, and doing R, U, R prime, U, R, U2 prime, R prime. And that will completely solve these edges. Next case I'm going to show you is when there's two edges correctly solved, however they're not next to each other, they're across from each other. So you should be able to find, if you have this case, you should be able to find at least two. In this case it's these two for me. You would hold the puzzle so that the ones that are correctly solved are in front of you and the other one is in the back right. And you would perform the alg that I told you at the beginning called T-perm, and you would do R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. So as you can see, these two are still in the same place, and if the other ones are completely solved, then good job. If not, you will just have to perform it again because it only cycled them once. So you'd hold them in the same position and repeat the alg, doing R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F. And you should have all of these oriented correctly. The last case, in which you only have one piece that lines up, and no matter what you do, you can only find one that lines up. So in this situation, you're still only using the algs that I taught you earlier, but you would hold the one that is solved in front of you and do the soon. So you do R, U, R prime, U, R, U2 prime, R prime. And you should get one of the two cases, either the one where the edges are next to each other, or in this case, the one where they're across from each other, and then you can perform one of the two algs I just taught you in the other two cases, and it will solve the rest of it. So part 3 is completing the yellow face, and as you can see, that basically just means getting the whole top to be yellow on the Megaminx. So depending on what method or tutorial you use to learn how to solve the 3x3 the beginner's way, you might have learned a certain alg in order to get the whole top to be yellow. So the alg went something like this: R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. And then once you got the one corner yellow on top, you would move one that doesn't, and you would continue to do that alg until they are all solved correctly. So we are going to apply the same alg to Megaminx in order to get all of the top to be yellow. So depending on what case you have or what situation, I guess you could say, on Megaminx you could either have all of these done already and have a yellow top, and that would be ideal, or you could have a few or none at all of these corners solved. But no matter how many you have, you will use the same alg as many times as necessary to get all of them done. So just like I just showed you on the 3x3, you will hold a corner that does not have yellow on top in this section, so the bottom right hand, and you will perform R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. And as you can see, it looks very messed up, but you're fine. So once you orient it correctly, you move one that is not solved here, so it's not yellow on top, or whatever center color you have, and you will continue to do the algorithm to orient this one. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, and then as you can see, it's still not correct, but that's because these three still need the yellow to be on top. Once you get all of these ones with yellow on top, continuing to do the algorithm that I just taught you, this part will also fix itself. So again, I move a corner into place that is not correct and does not have the yellow on top here, and I continue to do the alg, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, and it fixed it. And as you can see, it also fixed it here, but we're not done yet. We still have to make these two yellow on top. And as you can see, the whole top face is yellow, and that part that you had previously ruined is now solved as well. And that pretty much completes part 3, which is completing the yellow face. You just continue to do that until all of the corners that you did not have yellow are yellow. So for part 4, orienting the corner pieces, your final goal is a solved Megaminx. So for this last step, you will be alternating between 2 algs, and I wouldn't even call them full algs because they're basically 3 moves that take out a piece and put the piece back in a new spot. So just using an example on a 3x3, this piece clearly does not belong here. It belongs right here because it is the yellow, orange, green piece, and this is the yellow, orange, and green edges right here. So in order to get it out of its spot, I would do R prime, D prime, R, and as you can see, I did mess some stuff up here, but I took this piece out, and then I will move the spot it's supposed to go into, which is in between the yellow and orange and yellow and green, and I will do R prime, D, R, and now it's incorrectly, but as you can see, I took out the yellow, blue, and red, and that needs to go back here. So I would rotate that so it's in the bottom right, and I would do R prime, D prime, R, and as you can see, I put it in place, and then I took out the yellow, blue, orange, so I will bring that one into the bottom right hand corner, and I would do R prime, D, R. So as you can see, I didn't truly use any algorithms there. However, I did use R prime, D prime, R, and then R prime, D, R. So you're alternating between those 2 algs in order to move corners around. Now, if I was going to be honest with you guys, I will say this is probably the hardest part. However, bear with me. This may take a little while to understand, and if you don't understand it the first time, watch again and then try it on your own. So, using the algorithms that I just told you, you will be putting the piece that needs to be moved in the bottom right hand corner. So as you can see, this yellow, gold, pink piece does not belong in between the mint and indigo side. It belongs here. So in order to get it out, I would do R prime, D prime, R. And as you can see, it does look like you messed something up, but you did not. It is completely fine. and then you will bring to the bottom right hand corner the pink and gold, so that when you do R prime D R, you correctly put in this corner. However, when you did that, you did bring out this yellow, gold, and orange piece, orange or red, whichever one you want to call it, and that needs to go in between the yellow, orange, and gold. So you brought that into the bottom right, and you do R prime, D prime, R, and then you bring into place the corner that you have here, which is yellow, indigo, and blue, or mint, and you do R prime, D, R. Just use those alternating algs as many times as possible in order for you to correctly put these corners in place. So I really hope that this tutorial helped you all. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. If not, please watch again, because I promise you, if you follow these steps, you will eventually solve your Megaminx. It is a very frustrating process, and I know I struggled a lot as a beginner. So just continue to watch this, and it will help. I promise you will get there eventually. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.